Okay, I have this recording. I'm going to share my screen. Oh shoot. Is that me making that noise?
That was
Oh, okay. Okay. So let's do this. Gonna record this and put it in the team page. Um, let's present. So tonight, I really want to talk about kind of my system as far as what I do every day, and I actually call it my funnel, I guess. A lot of people might call it that, just like the progress that, or the progression that they take people through in conversations and getting them from a new conversation to inviting them and then to, you know, what happens after that. It's just kind of a process. And it sounds more complicated than it is really. I mean, you can make it more complicated or you can just make it work. It's kind of a mindset thing. But, and it's also very important to track all of this. This is something that I did not do in the very beginning of my business, and I regret it. So once I started doing this and I saw the power behind it and how helpful and amazing it is, yeah, it's definitely a daily thing now. And I will go ahead and start by saying that my process is not perfect, and that's okay. And what works for one person may not work for another. And so I have this like quote thing here that says, if you don't have a list, you don't have a business. And that just means that if you don't have a list of people that you're talking to, and if you're not tracking your conversations, then you don't have a business. I mean, any kind of business that deals with any kind of customers or clients or prospects or anything along those lines has some kind of database or some kind of tracking system to keep them on file. And I know that sounds super like serious, but it's, I mean, you have to keep track of things. You have to keep track of the people you talk to, or believe me, I've learned from experience, you will lose track of people and you'll lose track of those people that you've talked to. So, um, these are just some ideas of different ways that you can track this specific type of system. So pen and paper, that's one of the ways I do this. So I actually use two different formats, but pen and paper is definitely one of my favorite things. I am a doodler. I am a list maker. I like to write things down. When I write someone's name down with actual ink on paper, for some reason, I really like doing that. You can use, you know, some kind of notebook or binder. You can use Google Drive, which, you know, that's where you're going to find like your Google documents and such. So just kind of like a Word document, you can keep some, you know, you can make charts and stuff in there. And then Excel or Google Sheets, and that's actually the second format that I use. And I'll kind of get into that a little bit later. It's just part of my organization that makes sense in my brain. And then you can use your Gmail, specifically Google Streak, which is something, it's actually a plug that you use in your Gmail. And it's something that's really intrigued me for a while and something that I think I would like. But at the same time, I don't know, I can see myself definitely starting it and then not sticking with it. And I don't know. It's one of those things that would be very worth watching YouTube videos about. Just to learn how to use it. And it's a really great way to funnel. It's a funnel system for sure. Like you put people in certain categories, and it looks like, from what I've seen of it, it looks like a very great way to track your conversations and keep track of different people that you're talking to. I just haven't really taken the time to mess with it too much, but I am intrigued in it still. And then there's Asana. That is just it's a free app. It's another free, and Google Streak is free, but Asana is free as well. And it's just another way to make lists and track everything. TeamZ it's a software, CRM, which is what this kind of thing is actually called, customer something management or whatever. But Teamzy was actually created by a Beachbody coach, and I think it does have a monthly fee. I believe it's like a $30 a month or something. And I did the 30-day free trial of it, and it is absolutely amazing. It even has it has little like circles, kind of like the My Challenge Tracker app, like little checkoffs and stuff for certain things. And like you can actually put in what your income goals are. And so it kind of tells you, okay, well, that means you need to talk to X amount of people. You need to sign up this many people. Like it really breaks things down, especially for Beachbody coaches. But it would be an investment that you would make in your business each month, which is great, especially if it's something that helps you move your business forward. Just after my free trial, I just didn't really get into it enough and feel comfortable enough to keep going, but I might actually dive into it later on down the road as my business grows. So, let me move this out of the way. So it says, don't worry, you can always change it up. So like I said before, if something doesn't work for you, because not everything that works, something that works for one person doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So you can try something if it doesn't work, or if, hold on, it says I have bad, Ashley, can you still hear me? I know you're on mute. It said I had bad internet connection, so hopefully this is still recording me. So you can always change it up. If something doesn't work, then move on and try something different. Just, you have to do something. So the tool, that's what I mean by the tool you use to track your business is secondary. You need to just start. If you're spending all this time, if you have good intentions, just like action always beats intention. If you have good intentions of finding a good system, and you have good intentions of moving, doing the action items you need to do every day, but you're using the excuse that the system that you're using just isn't the right one for you, and you keep changing things up, and you keep basically just complaining about how something's not working or whatever, then that's not going to get you anywhere. You just have to keep moving and keep trying and keep working hard at it. So let me just move on here. Okay, so this piece of paper right here, this is just like a screenshot, and I can probably upload the legit document in the group in the file section, but this is what I use, and this is what I meant by I use paper and pen whenever I'm doing my system every day, my funnel system every day. So I literally just print out that sheet of paper, and I have them like 3-hole punched in a binder, and that's what I use every single day. And I put my names there on the little, under the section that says name, and the notes. I have any notes, usually if it's people on Instagram, I put their Instagram handle, and then I'll explain the 1 through 7 and what each of those means in a second. But I just put a check mark whenever they are moved on to the next little step. And I just keep moving them along like that. And so to me, that just is easy and it makes sense. And I'm just kind of able to keep track of people that way. Some people might think it looks messy and sloppy, but to me, it just works. So just a few little tips right off the bat is you start with at least 5 people. So congrats, you have a list. If you can think of 5 people, so if you're just getting started with this and just getting started with forming a system and talking with people and getting that power hour in every day, just think of 5 people. And that's going to be the first 5 people you put on that list under the name section. So then the next day, say you start on Monday, the next day you do the same thing again. You think of 5 new people and you put under the, you put on the name section. And so what happens is you're going to progress everyone through the funnel every other day. And I'm going to explain this in more detail in just a second. But so say on Monday, you put somebody on the list and they will be starting in the step 1. That means you won't touch that name again until Wednesday. So let me say that again. Whenever you add somebody to the list on Monday, you won't return and progress them to step 2, which I will explain what the steps are in a second. You won't progress them to step 2 until Wednesday. So basically everyone gets touched every other day. So You just want to set aside time every single day, whether this is like during your lunch break, 1 to 2 hours in the evening. Throughout the day, this is something you can use those little power pockets for, whether it's 10 minutes to do, 10 minutes of your funnel here and there throughout your day, whatever works best for you. And just keep in mind that if you add 5 new people a day, that means that you are connecting and inviting 25 to 35 people per week. And that is going to grow your business so much. As long as you're staying consistent and you're doing these things that I explain in a second. So, let's see. Okay, so step 1, like I said, Monday. That's where we're at. We're going to say, for example, we're starting on Monday. Whenever you put those first 5 names down on the list, step 1, you are going to go to their social media and you're going to like and comment on their social media. That's it. So simple. You literally just like and comment on things. I don't care if they haven't posted in a month. You like and you comment on their stuff. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just, oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm really bad right now at thinking of an example, but something like about the outfit that they're wearing and you want to know where they got it, or they're, maybe it's a picture of their dog. You want to know what breed their dog is or something, just something that shows interest, something that kind of gets your name there to pop up in their notifications. And, so that's what you do the first day on Monday. And then that group of people you don't touch again until Wednesday. So that means on Tuesday, try to keep up with me here. So on Tuesday, that means you would do that to 5 new people. Okay? So, but just for the sake of this example, you liked and commented on their stuff on Monday. So then on Wednesday, you return to those first 5 people and you progress them to step 2, which means you go back and you like and comment on their social media again. So sometimes you may see, well, they don't have anything new on their social media. You'll find something. Just scroll through some pictures, scroll through some of their posts, like their profile picture, something. You just need to interact on their page in some way, shape, or form in step 2. So then that was Wednesday. So now on Friday, you are going to send them a private message. And this is going to be and I have actually some examples of this in a minute, but like screenshotted examples. But you want to send a message that is just super, hey girl, nothing about Beachbody, nothing at all about what you're doing, nothing about fitness, just a, hey girl, I haven't talked, and I don't say hey girl actually because that's not how I would speak in person. Think about how you would actually talk to someone in person, and that's what you're going to say in your message. Just be like, hi Sarah, I haven't talked to you in so long. How have you been? Or, hi Sarah, I saw we had some mutual friends and I thought you looked familiar. Where are you from? Are you from the Alton area? Are you from Southwestern area? Just super, and then you could even ask them questions specific to something you saw in their posts. Like, hey, I saw you went on vacation. Where did you guys go? It looked awesome. I'm wanting to go on vacation this summer and I really want to plan somewhere that, like on the beach, like where you went, something like that. So that's going to be on Friday. So they are in step 3 of your funnel. So this is where I am putting the little check marks next to their name along the funnel in that spreadsheet. So then I actually don't do the funnel on Saturdays and Sundays. Some coaches may say, no, every single day, but I personally don't do the funnel on Saturdays and Sundays. I might catch up on messages on Saturdays, meaning I'm going to respond to any messages or whatever on Saturdays, but I don't actually work the funnel on Saturdays. And then Sundays, I just completely rest. I don't do anything with my business unless there's somebody it's like an emergency and they really have to sign up today and they need my help today or something. So anyways, that means on Friday I sent them the message, and then Monday I will move them to step 4 and I will send them a message again. So maybe they did respond to my first message and we did kind of chat a little bit. So if it's an ongoing conversation, I'll just keep the conversation going, keep asking questions about them, keep just showing my genuine interest in them and getting to know them, building a relationship, being friendly. If the conversation kind of died off, after the one I sent on Friday, like they weren't really super talkative, then I'll just ask another question and try to get the conversation up again. If they didn't respond to my message at all, honestly, there's been times that I just kind of like bless and release and I don't even try, like I move on to the next person. But if it's someone that I think I genuinely want to get to, I'm having a hard time with that word. If I genuinely want to get to know, I really want to, there's something about them that I want them to possibly be a coach on my team, or I really think that they would benefit from the challenge groups and stuff, then I will send them another message and just like, hey, I don't know if you saw this message or not. I hope everything's okay. Something like that, like something just really short, or maybe I'll even just go back to their page and interact some more on their page if they did not respond to my message, my first message. But either way, step 4 is you're still just having conversations, still not talking about anything Beachbody related unless they bring it up. Okay. And then, so that was on Monday. So then Wednesday, you move them to step 5, and that's where you invite. There have been times that they technically should be in step 5 where I invite them, but I, in my heart, feel like it's just not quite there yet in the conversation. So this is where it gets kind of like, for me, it gets flexible. For me, they might hang out in step 4 for a little while longer, and I just kind of have to, pay attention to where they are in my funnel, pay attention to where our conversation's going. Sometimes it just really hasn't progressed enough that I feel comfortable to invite them. But if we have, continued to have a good conversation, then when it gets around to, here, it's been a week since I first messaged them. So we've kind of been going back and forth for a good week with conversations. So Wednesday, in step 5, I invite them, and I have a screenshotted example coming up. But basically, this is where I'm either inviting them to a challenge group or I'm inviting them to the coaching opportunity. Some way, shape, or form, I'm inviting them into my business. So that was on Wednesday. So then Friday, 2 days later, I'm going to follow up with them. So that just kind of depends on the response, right? So that's going to depend on if they're interested. It's going to depend on if they responded at all. If they just, it kind of all, it's going to be like, you just have to feel it out to know what they say. If they say they're interested and they want more information, then obviously you're going to give them the information that they need. And again, I have some examples of this in a second. So I'll just go ahead and move on to what step 7 looks like. I'm trying not to forget anything. So step 7, that would be the following Monday. Again, this is going to just kind of depend on how the conversation went after you invited them. If they, if you kind of were talking and then all of a sudden they just stopped responding, then you can just reach back out. And I'll show you examples. I know I keep saying that, but I will. You can reach back out and just say, hey, I know you showed some interest before. I just don't want to miss anyone who is ready to get started with us in this next group. Or, I hope everything's okay. Something along those lines. I'm doing a really bad job at thinking of examples off the top of my head. So let's just move on. But anyways, that's the last step. So that's after you followed up twice, depending on where the conversation went. They might, before they even get to step 7, they might have already said, no, they're not interested. And in that case, you're going to put them on a follow-up list. If someone says no, that they're not interested, you cannot just write them off. You have absolutely got to put them on a follow-up list, and you will come back to them at another month. Because I will tell you from experience that the majority of the people that join me and join my groups are people who have said no to me in previous months. They have told me that they're not interested, or it's not a good time, or whatever kind of hesitation or fear or objection they gave me, they said no, and then they came back around later on and wanted to join. So absolutely, because what they're doing is they're saying no because they're unsure, and then they're watching to see if you're true to what you're saying you're going to do for them, which is why it's so important to be consistent with your posting, which I'm going to touch on in a minute too. So that's going to be the last step. So if they say no, then you move them to follow-up list. If they just completely ghost you and they don't respond, move them to a follow-up list. If they say, yeah, heck yeah, this sounds awesome, then you sign them up. Okay, so here's some examples, and this first one's actually really funny because it's Paige, and she is now one of my coaches and rock stars. But me and her were complete strangers. It's so funny because social media is so funny like that. But that first conversation there, this was she was in the spot or in the point of networking that she was in step 3. So I was reaching out to somebody. I wanted to connect with her. I wanted to get to know her and build a relationship with her. And so I sent her this message and just asked how she was. And I noticed we had some things in common, and I wanted to know where she's from. So, hi, Paige. How are you? I was just looking at your feed, and I feel like we have some things in common. Where are you from? Very, very just friendly. Like, I would legit say that to somebody in person if I met them and, like, we were getting our nails done at the salon sitting next to each other or something. And so then the conversation just went on from there, and eventually I invited her, and I'm so happy that I feel like she might have said no at one point. I don't remember, but either way, she did come around and wanted to join, and she's killing it. So then, this next conversation here is an example of an invite. So this is when it gets to the step 5 part of our conversation. So this is after we've already had some conversations. We've gotten to know each other a little bit. And I say, hi, Megan, I'm going to start getting things organized for my next group. And I meant to ask you this the other day, LOL. But would online fitness and nutrition support interest you at all? Totally okay if not your jam. I just wanted to ask. Hope your Monday was a good one. So, we did kind of talk a little bit about health and fitness. I think she mentioned one of my posts or something. So that's why I said I meant to ask you the other day, because we were kind of talking about it very briefly. And as you see, she said she's very interested. And so instead of just like blurting a bunch of information at her, I just start asking about her. I start like showing that genuine interest in her and asking her about her goals. And and this was as I was getting ready for bed, so I said I might pass out. So you have to remember that when it's time for bed, it's time for bed. People are going to wait for you if they are legitimately interested in what you're doing, and they trust you and want to join you. Don't worry about making someone wait in your inbox. That's something that I learned the hard way, because I found myself just constantly on my phone, like responding to messages as soon as they hit my inbox. And you don't have to do that. If someone is reaching out to you because they want your help, or if they're responding to a message, they can wait for you, and they will. So anyways, that's just a little extra there because it was on that message. And then this is the same message. So this is the same person, but she, she told me about her goals, and she told me that she needs accountability. And this is kind of what I always say to people whenever they're interested and they want to know what the groups are about and like what's included in the groups. But I said, you can totally hit that goal, which is the one she was telling me before. But she says, or I told her that in the groups we have access to stream all of the Beachbody fitness programs, meal plans, recipes, portion control system, first 30 days of Shakeology, and lifetime access to my groups. And I usually say that's held in a app where we keep each other accountable. It's been life-changing for me and my results, and I just kind of give a little story about my experience with it. But that's pretty much the gist of what I say every single time. And I just literally give it so much value because it is so valuable. And so that way, whenever it does come to them asking like how much it's going to cost them to get started and how much they need to invest in themselves to get started, it doesn't, usually I have people say, oh, that's not that bad, because I am just showing them how valuable it really is, but without making it like a humongous book of a message explaining every little detail. So, okay. And then this message on the right is actually one Ashley Tucker shared with me today, because she absolutely killed this invite. And it's actually a coaching invite. So she says, hey girl, I figured since you were so sweet and super nice, you wouldn't mind me running this by you. I know it's a little random, but I notice you live a pretty healthy lifestyle and your posts are so genuine and inspiring. I actually find myself creeping your page when I need some motivation. For real, I wouldn't feel right if I didn't at least mention to you the opportunity that is coaching to you. Do you think it would ever interest you? I think you'd be awesome at it. So she's literally pouring into this person. She's like lifting them up, giving them compliments left and right. And by the way, whenever you say, I figured you wouldn't mind because you're so nice, they're not going to be mean because you just told them they're nice. So, it's just kind of a good thing to say. It's like a compliment and also kind of lightens up the fact that you are inviting them to something. So, makes it a little easier and a little less like awkward, I guess. I don't know. I've really liked doing that too. It's like, okay, you're super nice and you've been really nice talking to, so I know you wouldn't mind if I asked. And then you ask them and they either say, no, it's not for me, or they ask for more information, which in Ashley's case, the girl she was talking to wanted more information, which is awesome. Let's see. Okay, so here's some no response examples. Like if you invite somebody or you message somebody and they don't respond. So this first one is usually what I mostly do. This middle one I never do. But okay, so just checking to see if you got my last message. I get so busy these days, so I know what it's like to read something then forget. So I don't say that word for word, and this is something I got off of a different slideshow, but I say something very similar to that, just checking to see if you saw my last message, and then I kind of finish it off depending on what we've been talking about. Yeah, this one looks like we haven't been able to connect. Bummer. I don't really say that. I think that's really supposed to be for like if you sent them that very first message and you haven't even had a conversation yet, then that's kind of what that's meant to be. But I haven't felt comfortable saying that yet, but you totally can. Yeah, well, it looks like I keep missing you. Hope everything is okay. And I say something like that. I don't do the sad face, but I do say, I hope everything is okay with the big smiley face, or I hope your day's going okay. And because honestly, there's so many times that people are busy and they like look at the message and it might show that they read the message because they opened it, but then they were busy because their kids started to like break something or they were at a stoplight or something, and they put their phone down and then they forget. So you definitely want to reach out and do little messages like this, like check-in messages, because there's definitely been several times that I've like gotten mustered up the courage to send one of these, and they ended up being like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this message. And then they ended up like wanting more information about my challenge group or something. So don't be afraid to send messages like that. Don't feel like you're being pushy, because you're not. Follow-ups are everything. So like I was saying before, if somebody says no, put them on a follow-up list. Okay, I already said this earlier. You should add at least 15 to 20 people to your list. Step 1, weekly, building real connections and relationships. So yeah, but anyways, the follow-up is everything. Like I said before, you definitely want to follow up with those people that said no, and don't feel like you have to ever stop following up with them. Follow up with them until they tell you to leave them alone, which I have never, ever had happen. And I follow up and talk to a lot of people. So don't ever feel like you are bugging them unless they tell you that you're bugging them. And then I just wanted to finish by mentioning that none of this that I just told you, none of this stuff is going to work as well if you're not posting with purpose. If you're not putting your story on social media, and that your social media posts have a purpose behind them, that they give value to people, that they make them feel a certain way, whether that makes them feel inspired, it makes them laugh, it makes them resonate with you, something, you don't want to just throw stuff out there. Read it before you post it and ask yourself, okay, but why? Why am I posting this? What are they going to get from this? And you also, you want to keep in mind like that attraction marketing, curiosity marketing. Okay, hold on. I thought I saw something flicker. you want to keep in mind that curiosity marketing and attraction marketing, because if you're just always putting out there what you're doing, pictures of Beachbody, stock photos and stuff like that, then it's not going to really inspire someone to reach out to you and connect with you. And don't worry, that's something that I used to do. So if that's something that you do now, don't worry. Just definitely start thinking about ways that you can share your story. Think about where you were before you found Beachbody. Just as an example, the Transformation Tuesday picture I shared today, go check it out if you haven't seen it, but the picture is my transformation, and it is absolutely nothing but Beachbody that made me see those results. Beachbody deserves all the credit for the results that I've seen. And I did not once in my post say anything about a program or Beachbody or, costs of anything, or I didn't say anything about something's on sale, or I didn't say anything about signing up, nothing like that. I just told a story. I told a story about where I was before, and I told a story about how I am now and what it's done for me now. And I had so many people show their support on that picture, and I had a handful of people reach out to me and message me because they resonated with it. They connected with it. Not because I said anything about Beachbody. They don't connect with Beachbody. They connected with me. So I'm not trying to get them to, if I would have had an 80-day obsession picture up, they're not going to connect with that as much as they would with my story. And so it's something that takes some practice. It's something that takes a little trial and error, and it definitely takes practice. And don't feel like you tell your story too much. You literally cannot tell it enough. Just tell it in different ways. And it's the same way with the coaching opportunity. You can talk about the things that being a coach has done for you. And this goes for both the fitness journey and coaching opportunity. You do not have to have a big transformation, a big success story. If you've been doing Beachbody programs for a week, you've been drinking Shakeology for a week, you've been following a fitness program for a week, then you have a story to tell, because I know that's done something for you. It's made you feel a certain kind of way. It's helped you stop drinking sugary coffees every day. It's done something. You have a story. You have something you can put out there that someone else can relate to. The coaching opportunity. If you are a brand new coach and you haven't even signed up your first challenger, you haven't added any coaches to your team yet, you can still talk about how just being a part of this community is making you so excited, and it's making you dream bigger, and you have some goals, and it's encouraging you to work on your mindset and read personal development. And that's something you never really thought about doing before. Whenever you do earn your first paycheck, you can talk about how that allowed you to put put gas in your vehicle, or allowed you to go get lunch with your girlfriend. Little things like that are going to make people connect with you so much more than posting something like join my team, because no one is going to read join my team and feel compelled to join you, because they don't see what's in it for them. They just see what's in it for you because they think that that's what you want. So yeah, anyways, I hope this is still recording. If not, I'm going to feel really silly. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I'm going to share it in the team page. And if you have any questions, then comment below the post where I upload the video, and I will talk to you guys later.